Hello, my name is Michael Garrick, and this is PoppinCulture. My guest today is comedian Kaleigh Cutright. This is her second time on the podcast. Thank you so much for coming back.
Thanks for having me.
Yes,
I'm excited to
uh,
come back. It's been a little bit.
yes. Last was a Christmas episode. Yep.
Yeah.
Uh, Kaleigh's hilarious comedian, guys. If she's in your city, please go see her. She will keep you laughing. Very talented lady. Very funny comedian. Um, You, I think we talked about this before, but do you remember the show we did together at 1626 Main Street?
Yeah, I do. It's still one of my crowning achievements as far as comedy goes.
Yes,
Um,
yes,
because it was one of those shows where I had never been in or never heard of it, so I didn't really know what to expect. And then when I got there and saw the people that were there or how many people were there and the response, like the energy in the room, yeah, definitely one of my favorite sets. So
yes. What I love about that show so much, looking back on it, was, and straight credit to Matt Addy for promoting it, for booking the show during COVID. During COVID, he sold this event out. We had to turn people away, and there was not one single big name on the show.
yeah, it was amazing. It was last November, so right in the middle of things, and it was like they never even heard of they did not know what was going on, or they didn't care. But either way, I mean, it kind of worked out because I wasn't I didn't really mingle because there were a lot of people, so I went around the little hallway to the stage and then just back out after I got off. So I tried to be as safe as I could, but it all worked out. So I'm glad that everybody was there,
Yeah, me too.
It was packed out.
Yeah, we all had to go around the back. I forgot that. Yeah, we did have to wait in the back by the bathroom before we went up. Yeah.
The
But
woke part of me wanted to get up on stage and be like, what are you guys doing here? Have you heard there's a thing going on right now? But the performer in me was like, I'm so glad to see all of you. So.
yeah, it definitely hit us where it was like, I'm happy this is happening. That's how it was for me. It was just like, this should not be.
Right. I mean, we were more than 6 feet away, so we did our due diligence.
Yes.
Whatever.
I just know it was a few people in the medical field there, and I was just like, a shame on all you guys. You're gonna go back to your job, and okay, we're not gonna say that. All right. So the topic you chose was food. Great topic. We're going to discuss how food has influenced pop culture. My first question for you is, what is your favorite food personally?
Okay, so I was thinking about how that would be one of the questions you asked, and I was like, that's a tough one. But I will say, can I say Greek food in general?
Yeah, of course. When you say that,
because I think it's, I love bread, but it's got to go a little bit. I got to get a little more specific. So I would say Greek food, any way that I can get pita and tzatziki sauce in my body, by mouth, of course, that would be the goal. So Greek food for sure. Grape leaves, any kind of tomato, cucumber situation. Yeah, Greek food.
nice. That's cool. My favorite food is sushi. So nice.
Okay. Do you do the crazy, octopus squid salad rolls, or you stick to more to the California?
Everything. Oh yeah. So sticking first with American culture and how important food is. When it comes to American culture, what do you think is more important, hot dogs or chicken?
Well, when you say it that way, American culture, I immediately think baseball games, and I think of hot dogs, and I think of 4th of July, and there's hot dogs. So I would put those two together mentally more so than chicken.
Okay.
Just the visual, as soon as you said it, I just pictured 4th of July, America, hot dogs, baseball games. So.
Okay. I know you, your sister, sometimes even Chris Carano, you guys make jokes about being Italian, and then you guys will reference some of the food. This is, like I said, this is not me to be offensive. I just know the jokes, and
Oh yeah.
when it comes to your heritage and growing up being Italian, I know for being as a black man, I know how soul food is definitely something I've ate my whole life, which definitely will kill you. Um, when it comes to being Italian, when you make those jokes about food, like are those foods you like really grew up on, or those are just like jokes?
Uh, Definitely stuff that we really grew up on, and especially more so when I was younger and I spent a lot more time around my mom's side of the family that were like off the boat Italian. Um, I was 5 years old the first time I tried wine, or on Christmas Eve, there's going to be a big pot of seafood or like big pot of sauce with squid in it or octopus in it. And I don't remember, like as a kid, I don't remember trying that. Thinking that even that was a little bit adventurous for me, but definitely always had that. There's always kind of fresh bread, or even if we were as hard up as we were, like as the hard times my family had, there was always boxes of pasta, and not necessarily jarred sauce, but at least like crushed tomatoes, to make your own sauce, because you might get shit if you use sauce from a jar sometimes. But yeah, definitely fit that stereotype for sure. And there's always lots of food. Like every gathering we had, there was always lots of food.
Okay. Um, you may notice I definitely know people that are like this. When it comes to food and culture, where do you think it came from where people don't like their food touching?
Hmm. I never really thought about that being a cultural thing. Um, Trying to think of food that has the least amount of like runny substances. Maybe, well, German culture in general, I hear is pretty regimented. So maybe like the schnitzel and the what other German food? The schnitzel and then the pork sausage or something didn't touch until right before you ate it or something. Would be
Okay.
my guess. I never really associated it with like a culture around the world. Just
Nice,
picky people or not picky people.
nice, nice. With the way that fast food has been picking up throughout the decades, and do you feel like sitting down and eating with a family is becoming less important?
Yeah, definitely. I think that there's so many ways to justify not sitting down because everyone's on the go, like parents, kids, single people, people in relationships. There's like a lot more, maybe not so much in the pandemic, maybe that was like rediscovered, but definitely in society in general, we're busier. We're just busier. And so it's totally justified to, if you're driving to an event that you have and you eat fast food in the car together, it's sort of like, oh, we're having a meal together, maybe for the first time in weeks. So yeah, definitely because we're busier.
Nice, nice. Um, to go back to what you said about bread, you say you like bread. I know I like bread also. Um, for people that have never had a butter roll, can you explain to them why it tastes so good compared to other kind of rolls?
uh so when I was younger, I wasn't like a huge fan of butter. And then I moved down here, I went to a Golden Corral and I had one of those shiny yeast rolls and found out that it was baked with butter. And I'm like, oh, that is why it's like addictive. I understand. I think I'm all about texture. And so I think butter, when it's baked in butter, it makes it a little more crispy and it's in every layer of the bite that you're taking. So I'm glad that you asked me that. I'm a bit of a bread enthusiast. So yeah, butter rolls. I'm a convert. I wasn't necessarily sure at first, but I'm here for them.
Nice, nice. And then you brought up something great. That's something I definitely want to talk to you about. Buffets. Um, not a fan of buffets, are you?
No, they're not necessarily my go-to. I mean, it's good, I guess, if you happen upon one and you're really hungry, or maybe you're hungover. Um, as a rule, though, I'm not a fan of them because I do get kind of weird. Sometimes I get weird about food touching, but other times I get weird about food that's been sitting out. Like if I'm having a sauce or a soup that has gotten that like sheen over it, like a layer of something over it, not as appealing. So definitely I'm not above them, but they're never going to be like my preference.
What got me out of buffets, I was like 21 and I saw a kid like throw food back into the buffet. And then I went to a buffet in um, Monk's Corner, South Carolina, and it's the only buffet I've ever been to that didn't have a Steve's card.
Ooh.
And I
Okay,
asked the guy, and I was like, "Hey, man, there's no Steve's card." And he was like, "What's a Steve's card?" And I was like, "Everybody, go now! Everybody, get your stuff. We're leaving."
drop the plates.
Yeah, arguments over. And the dude still made me pay, but I was like, whatever, man. But I was just like, no, we're not eating this food. So,
I've
um,
been to a buffet once that it was I guess it was technically it was one of those where it was like Chinese and Japanese, because it had lo mein and sushi. So just an Asian buffet. And for one, it was really warm in there. Like even the cold side, it felt really hot. Like I was kind of breaking a sweat walking around the buffet. And then there was also, I think maybe because of the heat, there was like a very strong smell of like mercury, like from the fish or something. And it was expensive too, because I think they had sushi and Chinese food. So like that was their angle. And I won't say the name of where it is, but I every time I look at it now, I just get food poisoning. So
oh, okay, all right,
we did not finish our meal there.
okay. Um, when it comes to people saying this food pairs well with this alcoholic beverage, do you think it's a real like person by person, or can you agree like okay, this like would you say multiple people would agree this tastes well with certain food?
I mean, I'm pretty live and let live. Like if you want to have red sauce and a white wine, go for it. But I definitely I can see why there is a general collective of, yeah, red wine, red sauce, or red meat, red sauce, white white sauce or seafood and white wine. I definitely think that makes more sense. And I've had like food that was paired for that, and it's like, yep, this it's not your profession is not just being pretentious. Like it makes real sense. But like I said, if it's your thing, if you want to mix and match, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm sure I have at some point. I feel like because there are some foods where, like, again, like red meat, red wine, and fish, white wine. But then there are some things I feel like I said, I love Greek food, and I mean, I don't eat meat, so maybe that doesn't matter. But like I've done white wine with it, or I've done red wine with it. So
Oh,
there's some there's a gray area.
okay. I didn't know you were vegan. I'm so sorry. Okay, I'm
Oh,
over
that's
here
okay.
like about to
Not
ask all these
not a
meat
vegan.
questions.
I just don't eat fish. No, you can ask me. I mean, I
Oh,
still
you
like
okay? So you just
I
don't eat
just don't
fish?
I'm
Okay,
just vegetarian. Yeah. I still like cheese and stuff. So
yeah, cool, cool, cool.
I'm not completely insane. Just kidding. Vegans totally support you. I couldn't do what you do.
Yeah.
Don't cancel
Uh,
me.
believe it or not, most like boxers or MMA fighters, they go vegan like maybe 2 weeks before their fights, just because like going vegan can like naturally help you cut weight.
Huh. Interesting.
Mm.
Respect. Couldn't do it.
Yeah, I understand that. Um, but yeah, to go back to what we just said, I think it's like you said, live and let live. But I truly didn't realize how much I like beer and burgers. I don't
Yes,
drink anymore, but I still drink like non-alcoholic beer with my burger, just because I think they merge well together.
they do.
Um, um, so
I get that because I don't eat meat burgers. I'll drink a real beer but have like a fake burger. So like
yes, yes.
kind of the opposite there, but
Yes. When it comes to like plant-based burgers, of course, when you grill it yourself or you make it yourself, of course, okay, 100% is plant-based. But do you trust like restaurants that grill on the same, you know, grill that they grill regular burgers on? Do you still think it's plant-based?
I think I think that for, I would say that I'm sure that the burger is plant-based, but there is no way to guarantee that it's not being cooked on the same surface. And I'm not that kind of person. I mean, I'm not the kind of person to make a big deal about like if it's cooked on the same thing. I mean, it's not ideal, but I'm not going to uh, make waves.
Okay.
Because sometimes as a vegetarian, you already feel a little bit like you're being inconvenient. And I don't mean to be, because I can get a salad and fries anywhere. Like I don't need a special restaurant. There are some good ones, but I don't need that. So I'm not going to, I mean, unless there's meat in my food. And even then I'll still be like, I'm so sorry, but I can't eat this. Like I'll be really apologetic anyway. So no, I'm not going to make a big fuss. And I just kind of accept that like the burger's falling apart. So it's probably made of beans, but it may have been cooked on a regular grill.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Um, would you agree with me that popcorn is like one of the top tier foods that like once you smell it, you want it?
I think that's the only time I want it. Like I don't really necessarily ever crave popcorn, but when I smell it, it's like, well, I gotta have some of that, obviously.
Yes.
The butter,
Yes.
I think it comes back to the butter.
Yeah. You go on Target and you be like, what? What? No, this doesn't make me want to buy anything. I'm just hungry now. Like this.
You know what my Target thing is? Um, the the Pizza Hut breadsticks that were probably frozen 10 minutes before I get them. Um, I like those.
Nice, nice. Um, hmm.
Bread,
so
so.
yes. So just going through different cultures in general, um, what food do you think I mean what ingredient do you think all around is the reason why oh, how do I want to word this so I don't sound stupid? What ingredient in food do you believe is most important? If you had to just throw out any ingredient, in my opinion, I think it would be salt.
Um, well, I'm trying to think of something that is universal because, you're talking about like sweet, savory, no matter what.
Mhm.
I would say some kind of fat.
Okay.
Like I go through a lot of olive oil in my house. But I don't use olive oil for baking. So just some kind of fat.
Nice, nice. Um, something that I really, really am learning over the past like 6 years. Candy. Didn't grow up really into sweets. Um, in other countries, I've learned that candy really isn't a big deal. Like they like it, but it's not a big deal. Why is candy so important in America?
For one, I think just culturally we're indulgent people. So the crazier the candy, I think the more Americans latch onto it. Like I remember I didn't really ever think they were that good, but I think they were Willy Wonka. Is that a real thing? Who makes nerds? Is that really what? I don't. I'm embarrassing myself, man.
No, it's
Anyway,
totally fine.
but they were the fun dips where it's like a packet of sugar essentially, and it's like a giant Tums, but it's a stick, and you dip it in there and eat it, and your tongue turns blue, and you can't fall asleep till 4 a.m. But those were so popular because they were kind of weird. Or there's one candy that I feel like it's like a syringe of sour gel that you just like shoot directly into your mouth. So I think the fact that candy in American culture particularly is it's kind of like it's indulgent, it's unnecessary, and we're the best and we're gonna have it. So
Yes,
that's what I think of. Every gas
yes,
station, it's always at Walmart, like right before you check out. So
yes. What's your
indulgence.
favorite junk food?
My favorite like junk food, sour cream and onion Pringles.
Those are good. Those are good.
Mhm.
Those are good. Mine are cookies and cream Hershey bars.
Okay. I went through a
Uh,
phase with those.
nice.
I like them. I still like them, but I went through a phase of like I was maybe in high school and I like mentioned that I liked them. So for my stockings or for my Easter basket or for my birthday, like it would be cookies and cream.
Nice, nice. Um, Junk food is just so accessible. You can get it sent to your house. We can get almost anything sent to your house now, but it's there. You don't usually, 9 times out of 10, if it's junk food, you don't have to cook it.
Mhm.
I think whoever own, like whatever companies own Frito-Lay, whatever, all those company Lays, I think once you have junk food, whoever owns those companies, I think they know like this will never be played out. Like for starters, it's like I said, so accessible. I'm pretty sure it's easy to make. Um, if they stop making junk food tomorrow, do you think people would be like shell shocked, or you think more people would actually like, all right, we need to start cooking, we need to get back to the kitchen?
I th- I feel like because of all the resources that are like online and whatnot, there may be some people that already feel guilty about it, so maybe they'll convert. But then there are people that drink Mountain Dew instead of coffee, and they'll lose their minds. I know at some point it's got to be like a chemical addiction or whatnot. So I think people would. I think if you're into junk food, if like you didn't even realize that it's junk food, then yeah, you're gonna have some kind of DTs, like with withdrawals a little bit. But then there may be some people that are like, well, guess I'll have a salad. So I think that'll be the majority. But
Yeah. Nice. What do you consider comfort food?
carbs, definitely. Like pasta or um this was something like I've been buying this for maybe since I lived on my own, like here and there, but I just recently realized how much I enjoy lean cuisine pizzas.
Hmm.
Like just
Okay.
plain lean cuisine pizza, because I'll dress it up. Like I love cayenne pepper, so I'll put like cayenne pepper all over it, or I'll dress it up in some way. But I would consider it a comfort food, and I can kind of like live in that denial of like, oh, it's a lean cuisine, so it's pretty much like I'm going to the gym by eating
Huh.
this or two of these or whatever. So
Nice,
definitely
nice.
like carbs, mac and cheese, lean cuisine pizzas.
Nice, nice.
Sour
Have
cream
you
and
ever
onion.
tried Red Baron?
Yeah, I think that they're better than DiGiorno.
Oh yeah, me too. Me too.
Definitely.
Yes. Um, so you chose the topic. Is it any parts of food that you would like to express how they influence pop culture?
Sure. I did a little bit of research. So, for one, I thought it was interesting and I kind of wanted to see like different generations, what was the like collective favorite food? Like for baby boomers, it's seafood. That's like their thing. And in a survey, this survey was like a year old. So if you're in the baby boomer generation, like the collective opinion is seafood. Then Gen X, it was actually a tie between burgers and Mexican food. It was like neck and neck. Um, Millennials, do you have a guess? Because you're a millennial too, right?
I'm 29. What am I?
Yeah, you're in there. I'm a millennial. I'm 28. So do you
Um,
like? Because I thought for sure I knew the answer and I was wrong.
I'm just throwing into the wind. Ramen noodles.
No, no. It's So I thought it would be sushi. But it's brunch. Like it overwhelmingly brunch, which I guess makes sense. But I would
Yeah.
have thought it was something else. And Gen Z was Tide Pods. Okay, I don't actually know what it was, but I've just decided that's what it is.
Good.
I didn't do any research after millennials because it doesn't
Good.
matter. But
Good.
um,
Good.
so like, and you can see the shift, like seafood to brunch is like it speaks to the generation, and I think that like there's not a lot of fast food seafood restaurants. I mean, there's Long John Silver's and
Captain D's.
Captain D's, but there's not a lot. So it's kind of like it's mirrored in our culture today, or the fact that there's even a term called a foodie, which I would consider myself a foodie. Like I love food, and a lot of people love food, and I would consider it a hobby. Like I like cooking it. I like watching people eat the food that I cook. Not in like a creepy way, but just I enjoy expressing my love or whatever, like with something I made. And I like learning about food, and I like watching food be made, or I like shopping for food. So like I would consider it a hobby, but it is something where I can go online and see people making food. Like I can get hungry just by watching other people make food. So it's something we've always had, but it seems like now culturally you're more into what goes into it. Or like there's different crazy fads, like people putting flaming hot Cheetos on everything. Like that's finding its way in everything. I don't understand that. Like
Yeah,
I don't think
Frank's
we
Red
agree.
Hot Sauce. I think when Frank's Red Hot Sauce dropped that, we put that shit on everything commercial. Cheetos ran with it. Yeah,
Yeah, you're right. Like, oh really? Everything, huh? Yeah.
yeah. Um, I'm not surprised about the boomer thing. I'm really not. Yeah, like that's like the one generation that actually dumped Oreos in the milk.
I'm so glad that someone agrees with me that that's not good. Like
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not a big, I don't like soggy anything. So maybe that's why. But yeah, it's not like a couple of my sisters, they'll just sit it in there until they pull their hand out and it's nothing, like it's all in the milk. And that's disgusting to me.
yeah, yeah. My mom was just like this. We're not wasting milk on that. Um, respectfully. Um, but thank you for dropping that gem on us. One of the biggest thing I wanted to ask is a lot more men are getting into cooking. I did do the research on that. Um, why do you think that's becoming more popular for men?
Hmm. Well, I don't know a lot about grilling or smoking, but that definitely seems to be like a manly thing. So I guess maybe the more things you learn you can grill or put in the smoker, maybe makes you feel more inclined to cook. And then there also might be that shedding of the gender norm of like cooking is for women, or the, women stay in the kitchen kind of thing, not trying to get political at all or whatever. But maybe just feeling more comfortable. It's like it can be still, you can still be masculine or manly and cook. So yeah, I would say so. I mean, I would say that that seems like a little more widely accepted. Like some of my favorite chefs that I follow are men.
Yeah,
Actually, more than women. It just kind of by happenstance. So it just seems maybe more like it's everyone's doing it. I don't know if it started with Anthony Bourdain or Guy, not Guy Fieri. I mean, he's a chef. He is. He's a goofball, but he's a chef. Or Gordon Ramsay. Like
yeah.
that's
Or
probably also,
yeah,
you can be an asshole and be a chef. So you're still.
yes. If I had to say anybody I thought it started with, I would go with Emerald.
Oh my God! Yeah, you're right. Oh, my grandmother. Yeah, Emeril Lagasse. Forgot about him.
Um, yeah, the only reason why I learned how to grill, like I can cook okay, but I learned how to grill just because my mom was like, "You need to survive. This is definitely something to help you live." If, because when you're young, you don't even know anything about these gender roles, or whatever. It's just like, hey, one day you're going to be hungry. So, but I do not know how to bake. Do you have a favorite meal or food you like to bake in general?
So yeah, I definitely prefer cooking over baking. Cooking is there's a little more improvising and a lot less science. But baking, I've actually just recently gotten into making baking quiche because, like I said, I'm a lot more into savory than sweet anyway. So started making quiche and throwing like weird things in quiche.
Nice, nice. Um, like I say, if you don't feel comfortable with this topic, we can skip right over it. I'm really into edibles.
Oh,
With
please bring it
weed,
on.
with with cannabis butter becoming way more popular and people learning how to use it into meals, way more than ever before. Uh, do you believe that there'll be like edible restaurants in the future, or do you believe that would be something that will have to be delivered to someone's home?
I mean, I know definitely in some parts of the world there are, but in some parts of the country there already are I don't know if they're exclusively edibles, where like you can't get anything without it, but I know that there are places that already, like in California, and I want to say somewhere in New England, like Maine, there are places that like I know there's a restaurant in Maine where the chef, she actually gets the lobsters high before she boils them because she considers it more humane. No idea how that translates into the food, but it's like a disclaimer if you're ordering it that these guys were blazed before they were boiled. So as far as like North Carolina, I think it'll take a little longer just because it has taken a little longer for it to be like embraced legally. Because people probably already are having that stuff shipped north or south. I know you're in South Carolina, right?
Yeah, we finally
Yeah.
legalized Delta 8. So like Delta
Okay,
8 is
yeah.
100% good to go.
So it may take a little longer, but I think eventually, and it'll probably start with like, well, you got to be home when you do it, or it's got to be controlled in some way. But then eventually, I think we're already trending toward, yeah, you'll have the option, I think, to
Oh yeah.
be
Oh
able
yeah,
to
it's
buy it in
coming.
a restaurant.
Oh yeah, it's coming. We got to fix these roads. Uh, is anything
The
else you like that?
potholes. Sorry, couldn't
Yes, that was
resist a pun.
brilliant. That was great. That was great. Don't know why I didn't think of that. That was telling you guys one of the funniest women I know. Funniest comedians. I don't know. I
There you have it.
apologize.
No,
Yes,
it's okay. I am a woman. It's true.
yes, true. Is there anything else you'd like to add to how food has influenced pop culture?
I guess I would say to anyone listening to this, that like start exploring food. I think if you want to. Like I'm so live and let live. I don't feel comfortable telling anyone what you should do, but I will say now that in the world of food, there's a lot to get into, and it's always fun to try new stuff. So don't be afraid. Go out there and try new foods. Live your life. Do it
Nice.
up. So
Eat some octopus.
yeah, don't be picky. Says
Yes.
the vegetarian. Don't be picky. Anyway, no, yeah, just try new stuff.
For any listeners or watchers that don't know, what can you break down? Because like I don't actually know the difference between vegetarian and vegan.
Sure. So I just don't eat meat. I don't eat red meat or any kind of poultry or fish, but I still do dairy and eggs.
Okay.
Then there's so many different kinds. Like there's pescatarians where they, not to overwhelm you, there's pescatarians that just eat fish, but they don't eat meat, or they don't eat like poultry or pork or red meat, which I think pork might be red meat. Anyway, and then there's vegans that they don't do any animal products. They don't do meat, obviously, of any kind, and they don't do dairy of any kind. The more extreme ones like don't wear leather, something with honey, I think. It's a lot more strict. So
Nice. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. Is there anything you'd like to say to your fans? And please tell everyone where they can follow you.
first of all, fans, identify yourselves. I didn't even really realize I had any. I'm on Instagram for the most part. I feel like that's where I will put all my shows. I think I legally have a Twitter. I don't know if you can illegally have a Twitter, but I have a Twitter, never used it. Like I don't know how to tweet. And then Facebook is pretty much just for like my grandma. So anyway, find me on Instagram. It's Kaleidoscope, Kaleida_scope, spelled with SKOPE because I couldn't get the regular one. And I'm on there. You can just look up Kaleigh Cutright, I guess, be the easiest way. And that's where I am. That's where I will be talking about food or my comedy shows or how cool Michael is or something. So
All right. Thank you again for coming on to the podcast. Thank you guys
thank
for
you for having
watching.
me.
No problem. Thank
I'm
you guys
hungry
for.
now.
Yeah, me too. Like no joke. Thank you guys for watching and listening, and have an amazing day.